What's going on, everybody? It's September 22nd, 2022, and today I'm do daily log episode, I believe 15. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'll see when I post it. But let's go over what happened today. I did post on the community tab. I took a trade just for a small, about 10 points, maybe a little bit underneath 10 points. I think it's right around 9, something like that. And it ultimately went to my target, which was satisfying to see. I was just not very comfortable with the market conditions, to be quite honest with you. It was very choppy, very consolidation, very weird movements, which I annotated yesterday that we should probably expect that because we had a large range day coming off of FOMC. Either we're going to continue lower, and when we opened up yesterday, we immediately started to drop. So there was a few indications to me that the morning session was probably going to be a little not clean, not the smoothest moves. So let's look at the daily chart here. Overall, we are targeting 37.21. Will we get down there by tomorrow? We'll have to see what price is looking like by the morning. It's hard to tell in the Asian session, I guess, right now. Looking at it, we could, but I don't believe we will. If we do, that's great. If we let's just say we do, we take out this low here, expect, as long as this happens during overnight coming into the AM session, expect some type of rally. Remember what I talked about last week with TGIF? So open, high, close is power of 3. We're looking for potential rally back into the opening weekly candle, or you're looking for that expansion lower. So looking at it on the weekly time frame, we came off of this bearish order block here. If you look at the wicks, equilibrium of that, came off of it, the low here I mentioned, and then we have the weekly low we've been targeting, and then the weekly order block is down here. So like I said, it's a little harder to determine at the moment where we're really sitting, but for me, I would like a retracement back into the weekly close. If not, then we'll see if we can get some short setups to potentially expand further lower. We do have some news in the morning. I believe it's right after the open, about 15 minutes after. So we'll have to see where price is at when the news hit. Looking at let's go down to a 4-hour chart. This morning, coming into the AM session, we were trading back into that fair value gap here and then trading lower. There's not much of a clear view on the 4-hour time frame. Remember I was talking about this area here. There's not much excitement going on here. I don't believe this is going to hold at all. I believe we will trade lower into the sell side here. Honestly, looking at the 4-hour, I wouldn't expect any retracement higher before taking out that low here. That's what I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow. So 37.21. Looking at the 1-hour. Today in the AM session, we traded back into that fair value gap, completely closed it in, and then we accelerated lower. I believe the 15-minute gives a nice clear view of price. So price traded back into this fair value gap, and we saw a displacement lower. If you look here, I believe this was almost an hour before the opening of price. We traded back into this fair value gap here. Notice the body closure, the wick just trades right through it. And then this is your bearish order block as well. So you have two things kind of coupling. It's also prices inside of a premium relative from the dealing range high down to the dealing range low. We are above equilibrium, which means we're inside of a premium. So that is amazing to see. I didn't trade price until we were trading after the open. So this was the trade I was looking at here. So I posted my analysis on the community tab, so you can go ahead and check the chart out if you want to use it for some type of study journal. You look at the 5-minute, we took out relative equal highs. We traded back into that fair value gap. displaced lower. We had our market structure shift right here underneath this low. And then we had the fair value gap right here. And if you're looking at it at a 5-minute, the dealing range high down to the dealing range low. Price was inside of a premium. So we had buy stops ran, displacement lower here, aggressive displacement. It's really nice to see. We had the bearish fair value gap coupled. And then we also had the bearish breaker, which is the last down close candle, annotated here. So price trades back into 2 premium arrays. And then I was targeting the previous day low, which is the overall sell side liquidity target. I ended up closing out somewhere in here because price was just on the 1 through 5 minute, just trading back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I just wanted to see speed and volatility. I didn't want to get caught up in some type of consolidation. We are nearing into right around 10 a.m. my time, so that'd be right around 11 a.m. if you're using ICT's time zones, if you're in New York local time, I believe. So it was just a little too choppy for me, and I've seen price do that too many times, spend too much time in a certain area that I don't like. For me, I really like speed. I like volatility. As soon as I enter into the market and we use a PD array that I'm using to enter into the market, I want to see speed. So I saw this. This was really nice, and this is actually where I closed out. Like a majority of my position was here, just because I was quite hesitant on the day. And then I was seeing this, just chopping back and forth. I spent about from this here all the way down to here. This is about almost 30 minutes of just sitting sideways. So to me, sometimes if you're inside of a trade and you're spending way too much time inside of an area, that may not be a good sign. I'm not saying to pull out of the trade, but for my criteria, like I said, Monday I already had a great trade. I was up on the week. I want to kind of keep it that way. I don't want to, this is a semi-low probability trade for me. It's not the highest probability trade coming off of FOMC. So I was just okay with grabbing 10 points. Overall, I was targeting the previous day low, which even if you see here, it was very slow to get back, to get down into that previous day low. So that's not something I love to see. And even after we took out the previous day low, we were moving just sideways for hours up until maybe lunch. After lunch, I'm sorry, we displaced higher. We took out the high here and then displaced lower again. And ever since then, we've just been moving sideways inside of the dealing range. So it's nothing too exciting to talk about on the lower time frames. I mean, I can touch on maybe 2 minutes, see if we can find something here. Like I said, if you're just using your Fibonacci swing high to swing low, honestly, this is one of the first things I look for. Looking for fair value gap and order blocks and breakers, all that's good, right? But I'm always looking at discounts and premiums. I'm always making sure I'm taking that trade inside of a discount or premium relative to that time frame and relative to that dealing range, because you can get caught up trying to find, like, let's say here, you see a fair value gap on a 2 minute, 1 minute, and you're trying to chase. That can get you burnt and have a lot of stop outs if you keep doing that. You need to understand the narrative and you need to understand higher time frames. This was the parent PD array. So parent meaning the 15-minute, there was a 5-minute, there was a 4-minute, there was I'm sorry, it wasn't a 4-minute, even the 3 or 2. But 15-minute, if I see that and I know the narrative, I know the underlying bias is bearish, it's a pretty high probability we're going to continue lower, especially after a nice displacement, nice market structure shift. So I'm going to go ahead and journal that away for me today. As far as the rest of the week, like I said, we only have one more day left, so don't expect too much. But I do expect probably a decent trade happening tomorrow, if I had to be honest. I think Wednesday and today are probably setting up some type of maybe TGIF Friday trade. So overall, my ideal setup would be for tomorrow, take out the sell side liquidity resting here, and then see a rally back into the weekly opening range. for that nice PO3. That would be the ultimate trade setup for me tomorrow. So until tomorrow, good luck and good trading, guys.